All right. An exciting Sunday football essentially over. There's still Sunday night football to come. Welcome to the Pro Football Doc Sports Injury Central podcast. This recap Sunday games, early and late games ahead of Sunday night football. This is our good window to talk about any of the injuries that have happened already. And we'll preview Sunday night football and Monday, and into the Thanksgiving week we go. Week 12 headed to a finish. Welcome, Taylor. Doug is here. The rest of the crew is actually packing up from the war room. We had a fun day today, even had a special visitor. Quinshon Judkins came in. But, of course, the young guys in the room didn't even know who he was, but that's kind of sad. But
it's okay.
But then they're like, wait a minute. 5th pick overall, first round? Oh, he's good. And then, of course, one of the guys in the young guys in the room said, wait a minute, Quinshon Judkins? I don't know who that is. Oh, wait, he's Quandre Diggs' brother? Oh, my gosh. What a big deal. I won't mention any names as to who I'm looking at right now. All right. Let's get going here. Where do you want to start, Taylor?
Well, I usually don't start. I usually try to do like a player that you can plug into your fantasy lineup. But I'll tell you, Doc, I've never had so many questions about an offensive lineman before in the 5-6 years I've worked with you. We're going to start first, I guess, with Will Campbell, offensive lineman for the Patriots. Went down today. Tell me your thoughts, analysis, video, and what you expect from him going forward.
Well, a big player, a top draft pick, a left tackle, a top team in the league right now, a very popular team, came from a very popular college.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is kind of what this podcast is all about. Look, quarterbacks, you get lots of information on quarterbacks. Every, pundit, every major reporter is talking about Burrow, and we'll talk about Burrow and Aaron Rodgers. But when it gets into the trenches, less so. So I think it's always signal to noise. And I don't think Vrabel said much. He got rolled up on the right knee by video, as we saw from the war room, and it looks like an MCL sprain. And we only had one view, usually like more than one view, but it seems like it's a multi-week injury, could return with a brace. Don't think it's season ending.
Or IR.
Not even regular season ending. IR, depending on the MRI.
Okay.
IR is not off the table.
All right.
It's hopefully it's short of IR, but also not season ending, somewhere in between there. Depends on the degree of the MCL, and of course the MRI is pending. But I would best estimate is not season ending, but likely to miss some time, and that's for our Patriots fans out there. That was an interesting game. It was closer than we'd have thought, and 6-point difference in the end.
For those kind of injuries, I know we always ask you and always tell me a blatant answer, but like this is a Monday night football game. The extra day does not matter, correct?
Well, in this type of injury, extra day doesn't matter. I would be very surprised if he played this Monday, and also very surprised if his season was over. So it's somewhere in between there, a couple of weeks missing some times, hopefully short of injured reserve. Admittedly, we only had a sideline view, don't have an end zone view. So it's like getting one x-ray and trying to make a medical diagnosis. You need 2 angles typically.
So we have 3 Thursday night football games today due to a Thanksgiving holiday. One player that got hurt is T. Higgins. Jamar Chase missed the game due to a suspension. What did you see on the T. Higgins injury today?
Well, for Thursday night Thanksgiving football for the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens, it looks like a swap. Bengals will have a swap. T. Higgins, swapping T. Higgins for Jamar Chase, who was out today, and then swapping Joe Flacco for Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you could argue an upgrade
on
at
both maybe
spots.
Yeah, exactly.
Jamar Chase was suspension. T. Higgins, concussion, hit his back of his head on the turf. I'm surprised there's not more turf conversation about concussions in terms of, hitting the ground.
It's harder on the turf.
It is harder.
Right.
We hear it all the time about knee injuries and ankle injuries, but I think it's a factor in concussions too. T. Higgins, you don't want to judge being knocked out based on video, but certainly he didn't, react well initially, and it was very clear he was going to get ruled out for a head injury. Look, if it's a temporary you saw Star's concussion. Even those are hard to clear in 4 days for Thursday. This would be a tremendous upset if he cleared for Thursday. You can essentially rule him out. I would fully expect him to be ruled out. And if he isn't ruled out, there probably would be a league-wide investigation as to why. Not saying there would be malfeasance, but it just would be that much of an upset. It's no different than saying a player is doubtful on the final injury report and seeing him play and get all snaps and doing well. It usually doesn't happen, right? This is doubtful plus is T. Higgins. So Jamar Chase will come off his suspension. And Joe Burrow is likely to play for Joe Flacco, who's still dealing with his AC joint sprain on his shoulder. Joe Burrow will not be 100%, but the Bengals now have 8 losses. If not now, when? They play the Ravens, the Bills, and then the Ravens again. They can't afford another loss. Has there ever been an 8-9 team that makes the playoffs since 17 games? I don't think so.
I remember specifically a Raiders team going 9-8, and they were undefeated in their division, and they didn't make the playoffs. Matt Castle was their quarterback. So yeah, I don't see 8-9. Yeah, I can look it up, but that seems rare, if not at all.
Since we went to 17 games, I don't recall an 8-9 team making the playoffs. At least, maybe there was a division exception or something, but 9-8 even is not a guarantee. And the Bengals have 8 losses right now. Joe Burrow, all shotgun, can't get up under center, throw from the pocket, move around and protect himself, but not going to
2010, Doc, the Seahawks were 7-9, and they actually famously won their division that year as well.
But
that's an anomaly, though.
No. You didn't hear what I said. I said an 8-9 team since 17 games.
Not a 7-9 team, yes.
22
Buccaneers, and they made the playoffs.
8-9 by winning their division.
And they wanted the yes, yeah, yep.
Made it by winning their division.
That's the only way you can possibly go in as 8-9.
Yeah, the Bengals at this point with the Steelers and Ravens in front of them are not winning the division. I think it's safe to say, or very unlikely to. So 8-9, I guess, is not impossible, but the vast majority, correct me if I'm wrong, 9-8 teams don't make it. I mean, it's an upset for a 9-8 team to make it, and not every 10-7 team makes it.
I'm just going through that division, Doc. I remember we talked about their division a month ago with the Lamar Jackson injury. Remember all the Ravens injuries, and also I remember I was on the Ariel show, the Prop Queen show, about just talking about division, and it was like -130 at a time. Now they're tied 6-5 with the Steelers. The Steelers suffered an injury today to their star receiver DK Metcalf. Tell me what you saw in that Metcalf. Excuse me.
Twice.
Yes, in and out. Yeah.
But thankfully, neither time looked bad. So hopefully he will be able to continue, big-bodied receiver, and he is likely to get his quarterback back. Mike Tomlin pretty much said after the game, it was, quote, his decision. I think it was always his final decision.
It's 3-pronged, like you said, always.
I think the doctors were like, I don't know. There is some risk. And he said, okay, for us to alter our game, we do a lot of shotgun, but to alter our game to all shotgun for Aaron Rodgers because he couldn't take a snap under center, give him another week. I know Aaron Rodgers wanted to play. I think Mike Tomlin wanted him to play, but in the end weighed all risks and said one more week. But the good news is fully expect Aaron Rodgers next week. As a matter of fact, Aaron Rodgers is probably more, quote, guaranteed, not that there's any guarantees, but he's more guaranteed next week than DK Metcalf is, even though I do believe DK Metcalf probably will play next week.
One injury to one of the Raiders' star rookie running back, Ashton Jeanty, happened late in the game. He was hobbled a little bit, came back, and then eventually missed. Tell me what you saw in the Jeanty play.
Jeanty left ankle. Thankfully, it wasn't completely trapped. Thankfully, it escaped significant injury. Maybe the grass field helped him there a little bit. He did not come back that I saw, but there was only a few minutes left in the game, and it was a 2-score game. So it made sense to hold him out, but not expecting anything significant or long-term on Ashton Jeanty.
And just, Doc, from like a scheduling standpoint, we're getting to the point that like when you get put on IR or so, it could potentially be season ending or not seeing them to the playoffs, right? We're at the week 12, week 13, the 4 weeks we're getting there. So, you're starting to see a lot of players that are put on IR. They're saying expected not back to the playoffs.
Well, the bye weeks are over, correct?
No, there's one more
One
week.
more,
Yes.
none next week.
Not one more week of buys. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The 14th, there is a bunch of teams. Let me see real quick. Yeah. 4 teams: Panthers, Giants, Patriots, and Niners have a bye. Yes.
But the deal, nothing on Thanksgiving.
No buys this week.
Spread out
Correct.
games.
Yep.
My point is, you miss 4 games with IR, and with most buys done, there's still a little bit of room to come back if you go on IR. But you're right; it is getting closer to that time of year.
I have a question real quick on a fantasy player. One we didn't talk about because this happened in the middle of our podcast is Sam LaPorta. There's a lot of issues. Talk about his back, what kind of surgery he had. Tell me why he's out for the season and why this is significant for the tight end.
Don't know any details. Dan Campbell's the one who said he was likely out for the season. That tends to make me think that, it's a herniated disc and potentially had disc surgery. I don't have any information to that, but that's just reading the tea leaves there. And Dan Campbell's always been pretty forthright.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where you're talking about 6-8 weeks. So I would agree that regular season is done for Sam LaPorta, but postseason window is potentially open the longer the Lions can stay alive in the postseason. They got to get there first.
7-4 currently.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
They got to get there first. But if they get there and every week they stay in it, the more chance that LaPorta has to return.
Kamara's been on the injury report for majority of the year with an ankle injury. He left today with a knee injury. Tell me what you saw by video and what you're expecting in the future.
He left, came back, left, right?
A lot of that today,
and, et cetera. Rolled up on, he's had an ankle issue. This is knee. The fortunate thing is the position of the knee as he was hit and twisted up, the knee is more forgiving, and do not see this as significant in long term. However, I know Kamara has wanted to be in New Orleans and the whole deal, but New Orleans is 2-9 at this point in time. So I don't know that anyone is trying to rush to get back. Not saying that Kamara's dogging it, just if the push to play is different when you're 9-2 than 2-9, or fighting for a playoff spot.
I remember specifically, I asked you about that question. Remember Julian Blackmon, their safety, he had a shoulder injury and he ended up having season-ending surgery week 4 or 5. And I was asking you, that's something potentially he could play through, but also knowing the team, knowing, he has maybe free agency coming up, there's a certain point that you make a business decision, right, in the middle of the season.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw, but I was on a Believe in Falcons podcast. And when I got asked to go on it, they buried the lead. Michael Turner,
former Charger great, running back,
and Falcons great, was the host of the podcast, along with his fullback. And they said, "Oh, you want to do a Believe podcast?" I was like, "Okay, I'll try." Do Falcons, Michael Penix, and then I pop on and it's Michael Turner, right? But if you go to that podcast, it's in my timeline. We talk about a decision that Michael Turner, he allowed me to talk about it there. We ad-libbed about when Michael Turner, I'll tell it a little bit here, the brief version. Michael Turner dislocated his shoulder. LaDainian Tomlinson was the number 1 running back. It was towards the end of the season, and I said, "Well, you finish the game. You're going to need surgery at the end of the season. You can wear this harness and play." And he said, "Great." And then he left and he came back and to the training room and said, "I think I need to have surgery." Well, what happened was he talked to his agent and said, "You need to be healthy for the off season. This is your free agent year. I need you healthy." And if I were earlier in my career, I might have said, "Okay, let's get you fixed and move on." But I said to Michael, I said, if you were LT, I would have told you the same thing. I mean, yeah, you need surgery at the end of the season, but
you can play
through it with a harness. And he says, "No, I trust you." But he said, "My agent said I had to do this." And I said, "Okay, but your money makers are your knees and your legs. Your shoulders, as a doctor, I can tell you, the staffs and the GMs don't care as much as you can play with a harness. As a matter of fact, it's a badge of honor to play through the season
with a strap or
if you can, it shows your toughness." And I said, "It's up to you. Well, you want to do surgery, you're entitled to it." But we had the conversation and I said, "Look, who's going to get the better money? I mean, they're going to pay you next year to be a 300 carry back plus carry back. If you're at 100 carries or less and you're hurt and your season ends, how does that look?"
Right.
And he agreed and he overrode his agent, finished the season. And guess what? In those playoffs, he came up huge. because LT was injured
And he earned
somewhat.
himself more money.
And he earned himself more money.
Yep.
But so yeah, it's an individual choice. I would have gone with Michael Turner with surgery if that's what he wanted, if he understood all his options. It's an individual choice is all. And so I'm not saying that player should or shouldn't. At any point in time, you don't know how much pain they're in or how much instability. I'm not saying that they're soft or whatever, but there are lots of considerations when you're making a decision.
One question I had, Doc. So we saw Atlanta today. You just spoke on Michael Penix. You spoke on all the Atlanta injuries. Tell me your thoughts on Drake London and if he has any chance to return from his injury this week.
Yeah, I do think he has a chance to return. I don't see it as being long-term. And, Kirk Cousins, little shaky today, not exactly in the realm, but I think we saw glimpses of Kirk O'Chains again, right?
Yep.
As we've been saying, he lost his job last year when he got hurt against these same Saints right before halftime.
And we've gone very deep into all
that. That. And he's not hurt now. He's just got to get into the role and the rhythm. A nice win today for the Atlanta Falcons, easy win. And every week, I think Kirk will get a little bit better, especially if you can get Drake London back as his main target.
One question I'm seeing fancy. Fat finger drafted him, Rashee Rice, who's been very good in fantasy this year since returning. He had 8 catches for 141. He did leave the game. They said he might have had a hamstring, soft tissue, maybe even got hit in the quad. Tell me what you saw on the video of Rashee Rice. He did return.
I'm not buying the hamstring side for a speed receiver like that. Boy, to make that hamstring worse and play through it, I think it's more of a thigh contusion type thing. Hopefully that's the case. And I'm not saying because of me. And what you're referring to is, I was busy at work and it was the small company league and it went on auto draft and I didn't know it was on auto draft. I actually was looking at it at work and I got auto drafted. I don't know, Rashee Rice, but I survived the first 6 weeks. So now he's not so bad anymore.
Exactly. Green Bay, Doc, another person on you didn't fat finger, running backs, Josh Jacobs. He's had a fantastic year. His backup, though, had the first 100-yard carry game for the Green Bay in the calendar year. So maybe they might switch. That's joking. They're going to look for Jacobs. The thing is, though, they do play on Thursday. And I saw Pelissaro. This is one thing I want to talk to you about. It's always been contusion. And we've kind of been like, maybe he can play through it. Now I saw bone bruise. Tell me what you saw there, and you know the difference between bone bruises and what kind that he's dealing with.
There's different types of bone bruise. There's the articular bone bruise like Brock Bowers had. 6 weeks is not uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
There is bone bruise just to the bone and not articular cartilage part of the bone, and that's a pain tolerance issue. I think that's more Josh Jacobs. Look, his backup had a great game. Does it give him some more room? They play on Thursday, maybe, but they're different style running backs. I didn't know too much about his backup, and he's a straight ahead, nice power back. Made Minnesota look silly, breaking a lot of tackles, yards after contact, but different style than Josh Jacobs. I think there could be thunder and lightning. They'll come up with a different word. I mean, Josh Jacobs has been great for me in fantasy because he's one of the few remaining 3-down backs. For a good part. I mean, he plays a lot of downs, and maybe that'll change a little bit with this performance.
We were talking about tandems like that. One I remember is Earth, Wind, and Fire from the Giants when it was Brandon Jacobs and Amon Bradshaw. Like you said, those are two different style running backs. One's a power, Jacobs, and Bradshaw was speed. And then I remember the Panthers, they had D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Also two different styles too as well.
Look around the league. Yeah. There's very few that are one back systems, all three downs, right? I mean, very few. I mean, it's become more common to have Jamar Gibbs and David Montgomery, right? For example, that's been more the norm to have a stable and different ones. I mean, Pittsburgh, Jalen Warren, Gainwell, even Saquon doesn't play every single snap. I'm not saying Josh Jacobs played every snap, but he played a lot of snaps. I mean, like Aaron Jones sharing duties kind of with Jordan Mason.
Right. What I want to mention real quick, running back is Quinshon Judkins. He had a concussion check, came back in, then he had suffered another injury. Tell me what you saw by video for the running back.
I mean, can't judge concussions purely by video, but he cleared the protocol. He hit his head. There was no obvious external signs. He returned to the game. I got to say, what a great coaching job. Nice job by Shedeur. Some ups, some downs.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say, great coaching job by Kevin
Stefanski,
Stefanski and the Browns, and my guy Bill Musgrave there too. I mean, what a great move to go bring out Wildcat with Quinshon Judkins. He got 2 touchdowns off of that, right? I mean, that's as we were talking with Quentin Jammer, who was here, every run play is designed as a touchdown where you have the quarterback, the running back, and 9 people blocking 9 guys. You can scheme one guy out of the play, and you want the running back to beat one guy. What happens when you go Wildcat, especially when you pull Shedeur out, you have 10 guys blocking 10 guys, and you scheme one away. Right. The running back doesn't even need to beat anybody in theory, if everyone does their job, kind of thing. And that's the magic or advantage of Wildcat. And Jammer attested to that. It's just harder because you have one extra blocker. And so everyone has to beat a man, and the run scheme is done to scheme one guy out of the play. So everybody is a hat on a hat. And that's what makes that play hard to defend. Great time to break it out. Yeah. It certainly surprised the Raiders.
They were not ready.
They haven't seen it all year. And, great job.
Does that get Crosby out of the game too? Like if you do the Wildcat, you kind of like limit his the pursuing a little bit, or is that?
I don't think Crosby's ever out of the game.
Yeah, that's true. He's going to pursue you regardless.
I mean, but it just makes it a harder play to defend because it's a numbers game,
right?
And the numbers of blockers, you increase one extra blocker,
and it changes everything.
It changes things. Yes.
Going back just to a quick Thursday game, big defensive injury that we have a question from the chat about is Kyle Hamilton. He's also one I remember coming back in. He was grabbing at his shoulder, upper body area. Tell me what you saw by video for him.
Thankfully, we didn't see anything that would rule him out. It is a short week, and it's Kyle Hamilton, right? And so I think he's probably going to try and roll through. We'll have to look at practice reports, but at least no definitive bad news is kind of good news, but it is a short week. Yes.
We'll jump real quick to the Black Friday game. It's Bears versus Eagles. This is a kind of game, specifically the Bears, that reminds me of why we not created, but we talk about cluster injuries and we how much we affect them in our 6 scores. The Bears have no Jalen Johnson. He was expected to return, but he wasn't able to off IR. Kyler Gordon, the nickelback corner, who Gardner Johnson's been playing through with his injury, was expected to come back. He wasn't able to. Now you have the linebackers. Number 1, 2, and 3, Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, and Noah Sewell all missed the game this week. You have technically a short turnaround, and then now Tyreek Steven left the game. That's their only really healthy cornerback, Doc. This is a lot of clusters for them to have to play an elite Eagles team, correct?
No question. We went into the game saying Chicago is hamstrung, and J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings couldn't take advantage. Pittsburgh Steelers couldn't take advantage. Mason Rudolph. Sorry, wrong game. Got it confused. Green Bay, the other game, a short week game. The Steelers couldn't take advantage of the shortcomings and came out on the short end by 3. But cluster injuries at linebacker and in the secondary, something to look forward to the Eagles. But I don't know about the rest of you in this room. When it was 21-0 as we were approaching halftime, did anyone see the Cowboys winning that game? I mean, to do money line then, it must have been a pretty payout. And they scored the touchdown before the end of the half, and then held the Eagles
no points,
scoreless in the second half. A Cowboys defense that we have been talking about is much improved with their trade acquisitions
and Overshawn coming back.
Overshawn back, Logan Wilson, Quinnen Williams,
Malik Hooker off IR.
Quinnen Williams left briefly a little bit when he took a chest rib shot. But that Cowboys defense is clearly better than it was before, which is good news for Dallas fans. Eagles, that's a rough second half. There's going to be a lot of questions there again.
They also have the vets injuries too. Reed Blankenship, their starting free safety, he left the game, and then Ojima, one of their top defensive tackles. So there's going to be a lot of players on the injury report for both teams going into this Friday game.
Well, it'll be a busy week. Hopefully safe travels for anyone who's traveling with family. I am leaving with the family since the kids are on vacation, but we'll do this remotely. We probably will skip, but go to the Pro Football Doc or Six Score Timeline, or better yet, go to sicscore.com. We'll have update articles and snippets and so forth. Probably I'll be on a plane, probably not going to do the recap podcast at 2:30 Eastern, the normal, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Probably not going to do that. I'll be in the midair. I don't think I'll have connectivity enough to do a podcast, but we'll be updating the sites.
Six Score will have all the insights,
sicscore.com, all the insights and so forth, leading into Monday Night Football and the short week. And look for the new schedule. The sign up for the free email, or the updates will come out on different days or earlier because of the 4 midweek games, 3 Sunday, 1 Friday. If I miss you guys, happy Thanksgiving. I will be actually in New York. Thanksgiving dinner will be happening during one of the games, but it is what it is. And I'm sure everyone will understand and enjoy. What else we got here?
All right, Doc. Well, yeah, I have nothing else for you. I do want to talk real quick about what was one more injury? Walter Nolen. Someone asked about. He's been a big time guy. He's been out multiple games this year. IR with a calf injury, knee injury now. Something that was on the injury report before. Tell me if you saw anything on his play.
Yeah, calf injury, then finally came back and was dominant, then left for a knee injury a couple games ago for a game, and then back again, now knee again. Don't have any word yet whether it's the same aggravation of the knee injury. If so, that would be more worrisome. And, that's one of the ones that we'll clean up on the all 22, et cetera.
And just to plug Sick Picks, another fantastic week. We continue to hit spreads at a high rate. We have a play tonight for the night game. So if you want to go to Sick Picks, sickscore.com/Sick Picks and get that pick tonight. That's all I have, Doc, for you. No rundown, but like you said, tomorrow. But no, sickscore.com will have all the insights going from tonight, tomorrow morning, and so forth.
All right. If no other questions, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving,
to everybody. Still Sunday night football to come and Monday night football before the end of week 12. A no-bye week 13 with lots of games spread out across Thanksgiving and Black Friday, etc. Enjoy, and we will be back. I'll be back in the War Room before next Sunday here, and we'll do the same halftime show where that's been working out well with Steve Fezzik and you guys doing all the analysis with injuries.
32-18 so far. Yeah, still hitting
62
64%. Yeah,
that's not bad. 32-18. That's pretty darn good there. Take advantage of that as well. All right, thank you.